The number one thing that we can do, though, regardless of what we do with jobs, my friend, is what, again, the Chancellor said. Every business meeting that the Secretary, Crisco, and I have been in, where we were to the decision-making with an industry or a company, either small or large, sometime during that conversation, you hear about education. You hear about the capacity of our universities and community colleges to provide a skilled, mobile, innovative workforce. You hear about our public schools, and every single CEO I've met with ask me directly, and what will the schools be like for my kids in this county or this city? These are issues that are only getting more pronounced as we are global and we can compete effectively or work effectively anywhere in the world. We have implemented, with help from a lot of people, an initiative called Career College Ready, Set, Go. That means, with the agreement of all of the educational platforms in the state, from pre-K all the way through the PhD in the university system, PK through 20 then, that the one goal of our public school system is simply to train our kids, to graduate our kids from high school with the skill set they need to do one of three things: to go on to a career, because the fact of the matter is many of our children don't choose any kind of post-education, so they have to have the job skill set in this economy to get a job and to work. That's one of the primary reasons for schools in America and in the world. And the second thing they have to be capable of doing with that skill set is, if they choose, to go on to a technical program or a community college or to a university and get some kind of advanced skill set. But it's all about job training, and we've lost that kind of investment in our state. Somehow we got off track and we have forgotten that the key point for all of us is to be sure that our kids can get a job when they're out of school. I'm sick and tired of community college presidents telling me that they have to spend $4 or $5 million a year on remediation because about half of our high school graduates come unprepared to meet the demands of post-secondary education. We're better than that in North Carolina, and I will just simply say to you, we're better in North Carolina than allowing, in this state, a third of our kids to drop out of high school before they graduate. We cannot lose a third of our potential workers in a global economy and be as good as any state or country in the world. And that has to be all of our goal, because we, after all, are North Carolina. Secondly, after jobs, and secondly, education. Thirdly is something that I know you all care just like I care about. Bob and I, my husband, are both taxpayers and we're citizens of this state. And I love North Carolina as much as anybody in this room or in the state, I believe. But I tell you what, I've been saddened by the ethical failures. I've been saddened by the lack of transparency in state government, and I believe strongly that the people of North Carolina own state government, and they own a piece of elected officials, and people should have the right to know everything that's going on. And all of us who are elected or appointed working in state government should be held to a higher standard and to be more accountable. And we've done that in this administration. We have thrown open every window of state government. If there's a mistake, we admit it before the press finds us out. We talk directly about how we're fixing it, and we stand up like men and women and say, hey, none of us are 100% perfect. But we are working on that, because I believe it's critically important for North Carolina to regain that trust and that integrity. We have a zero tolerance policy. That means if you work for the state and we can find that you've likely done something bad, sure, we're going to give you your constitutional rights. We're going to see what happened and be sure the facts are fine. But I'm not at all reluctant to fire people, and we're doing that very quickly every week, I'm told. And that's important. That's called setting government straight. And as you think about other ways to set government straight, you think about ways to save money. Yesterday, I was really tickled to be at Rex Hospital in Raleigh, where we brought out to showcase the new Medicaid program that we put in. Do you know in North Carolina, Medicaid costs the people $10 billion a year? It's important to have a health care system for folks who are poor or who have no health care or no support system. I know that, and I believe in that. But we've got right many folks in this state, providers and users, who are simply scamming the system. And we have put in a new private-public partnership. I'm the governor who's doing that because we don't have the resources to do it the old way with your tax dollars. And so we're having to partner, because it's the right thing in the 21st century to do, with the private sector. We have a contract with IBM. They're going to get 10% of all the revenue they collect on fraud, abuse, and waste. They paid for the entire system. They put it in and they've trained us. And we're running the Medicaid data from at least 1995. We're up to 2007 now. And I can tell you, the stories I've seen already would send your hair. I believe we will have hundreds of millions of dollars over this decade in savings, because finally in North Carolina, state government as well as businesses are trying to go high-tech. And finally, if you can set government straight, if you can focus on career and college skill set for education and make that work, and if you can work on jobs and small business, you still have to keep your community safe. We continue to partner with law enforcement as we do that across North Carolina. You know, in this spring, as we're beginning to think about summer and the tourism and all that we're doing, we do think about the economy. And as I talk to economists, they tell me, national economists, that North Carolina is really coming out faster because of our workforce capacity. Those are common denominators for us in every business situation that we do. And I understand that it's important to support small business and education and law enforcement. But you know what, when I think about North Carolina and our best resource, I actually think about our people. Our people, everywhere I go, even in these hard times. You know, North Carolinians have figured out a way to suck it up and get it done and try to find a job. And that's pretty powerful. I think about people like Leslie and Bob who are trying to get their business to grow. I think about our host, Rob Kaiser. They are North Carolina. Now I think about the man in Carteret County. Y'all know I live on the coast like you do. I've got a friend there who sold crab pots for years, since I've been in North Carolina. And he couldn't sell those crab pots anymore because there was no demand for American crabs. It's all gone international because they're cheaper. And my friend was nearly bankrupt, and he said, I've got to fix this. And I thought, how are you going to fix crabs? You know, you can't do that. And lo and behold, about 6 months later, you know what my friend has done? He's opened up an innovative business on the internet, and he is selling crab pot Christmas trees all over the world, and he's making great money. He tells me his money is better than he'd made it in the crab business. I like that. Or I think about this man in Winston-Salem, Dr. Tony Atala, who's actually taken pieces of our hearts and our stomachs and our intestines, and he's growing whole new intestines and body parts in his lab, about the innovation and the creativity that we all see. Or I think about the businesses here in Wilmington and the Southeast. There are so many of you who have success stories to tell that you should be so proud of. The fact that you are rebuilding your lives and reshaping your businesses. And you really are North Carolina. You are the face of our people. And you know, the thing that keeps me going, and I hope it keeps you going, is when I think about the future. All of us, especially when you get to my age, begin to think about the next generation and the next and the next, and leaving it better for them than we found it. That's really almost every parent and grandparent's dream, is to leave it better for their kids or grandkids than they found it. And then when I'm out in North Carolina, like I'll be this afternoon in Robeson County, and go into a school, I look into the eyes of these little children who really do believe and trust that we're going to make the tough decisions to give them a different future. And you know, I know that we're going to do that. And I know that we'll do even more for one simple reason. We're North Carolina, and we can do anything we set our minds to. Thank you.